Good morning. This morning we're in McAdam, which has a beautiful train station and was built for trains, but there's no more trains. And this morning I have some companions. We have the comedic relief in Chai. Boop. And we also have a videographer who has no skills, zero photography experience, but she has an enthusiasm of 10,000. So we'll see how this goes. All right, so we got the first image lined up. Of course, it's going to be with the classic historic train station. Super simple image. We have some of these reeds in the foreground that are being hit with some of the nice morning glow, and the train station's lit up nice and bright. There's not much drama in the clouds or anything, but it's still a worthwhile image and it's a cool location. So I am trying to keep some of the reeds in the foreground and having the train station up in the upper third of the image. Super simple image. Shutter speed of 1/640th of a second. Aperture of f7, keep everything nice and sharp, and ISO 160. I'm also trying to make sure that my shadow isn't in the image. So there we go. Super simple. Get the creative juices flowing for the morning, and we'll see what else we have around here. Just took that first image, and Chai's over there on a stump. She likes to sit on stumps. Chai, up. Good girl. Part of the reason the dog's here as comedic relief is if you have an action camera, put it on the widest angle you possibly can, and then put it close to your dog's face. We did that on the drive out here. It's hilarious. Highly recommend trying it. So I found my next composition. There's a little island out in the middle of the pond, and there's two leaning trees that are covered in snow, but none of their needles have snow, so it makes for an interesting subject. And in the foreground, there's a couple little patches of reeds, and there's light on the island, but not in the foreground, so it's some nice contrast. I had to play with the composition just a little bit, because you can see there's a little shed behind the island that you can kind of see in the background. So I tried my best to take that out of the image. And I'm thinking it's going to be a vertical 4x5 crop, so I might be able to get rid of it entirely. I left the minimum amount of sky in the image I could. Once again, the little bit in the top will probably be cropped out. But a shutter speed of 1/2500th of a second, f4.8, ISO 160. The low aperture is just to make sure the foreground is kind of blurred and doesn't distract from the subject. 2-second timer, it's very windy. There's the image. I hope you like it. I'm quite happy with that image. I think it's better than the first one. There's still quite a bit of nice light poking through these trees. And we're kind of on a well-groomed trail, so we're just doing a loop, and I think there might be some more nice opportunities as we go. Another new image, I think. Good opportunity. There's this beautiful fallen tree with some nice backlighting and all kinds of cool shapes and swirls in there with the branches. So we'll set up the camera and see what kind of image we can capture. Ideally, I'd be using a tripod for this image, but I've been having trouble on the snow. I can't get it in the right position I wanted. So I'm trying to do it handheld. There's some nice backlighting on the moss on this fallen tree, so it makes for a really interesting image. And I'm composing it so the fallen branch is kind of cut through at an angle from the top down to the bottom of the image. I'm quite pleased with that image. It even got the seal of approval by the assistant videographer, which is very difficult to do, especially with woodland photography. So that gives me a little boost of confidence. On the topic of woodland photography, it's something I really like, but it's something I struggle with quite a bit. Things always catch my eye and I'm like, oh, that's interesting, or that's some nice light. But I really struggle to compose them because I feel like they're always too busy. But it's something I definitely want to work on because around here there's so many awesome old woodlands and lots of opportunity for images, but I find it difficult. But it's fun, it's very enjoyable. Quick, simple, easy image. There are some leaves that haven't fallen off the tree and they have some nice orange color. And they're backlit, so when you get nice and close to them, you can almost see through them. So I'm just shooting with a low aperture, so nothing else is in focus in the image. There it is. It's super simple, super easy. I just couldn't pass up the opportunity. And it's quite nice with sort of a white background from all the snow. So I'll share that with you now. This boulder has a huge root coming out of it. I bet when there's no snow here, that's a pretty interesting tree growing out of a rock. Oops, I think this is a dead end. I was wrong. There's a lot of fallen trees around here and we couldn't find the trail, but I think we're on the trail. Hopefully we don't get lost. Well, that was a tough 15 minutes bushwhacking, but we found a bench, so that means we're back on the trail. So we're gonna try and get out of here now, and maybe we'll see some more compositions before we get back to the car. Passenger trains don't come through here anymore, but there's still cargo trains. And this one's full of logs and timber, because New Brunswick is still definitely a big forestry asset for Canada. These things are huge. I didn't realize how tall these containers were. I feel very minuscule. We basically made it back to the train station now, so that's the end of the loop. I didn't really see many more compositions that really spoke to me. The lighting wasn't as good on this side of the pond. It was a nice loop, although we've decided we will definitely not be coming back here in the winter. There's too many down trees, and it's not like a high traffic area, so the path is really easy to lose. So we got lost for a while, but it was fun. We'll definitely come back in the spring though. I think a great spot for birds is like a nice shallow pond, and there's like 5 or 6 beaver dams that I saw as well. So there could be some cool opportunities there. It'd be nice in the spring with all the fresh green colors and leaves and flowers and fungus. And I think the train station is open in the spring and fall, and they might have like a coffee shop and a museum, and I think even some homemade hand pies. So those could be delicious. But I hope you liked the images today. Let me know what your favorite one was, and I'll catch you on the next one.